So I was really drawn to account management just because I kind of have a background in doing a little bit of everything. And so I kind of wasn't ready to like release that completely. Like I didn't want to just go in and do like only one thing. Like I really liked being involved with digital, but I also really liked, planning things out and processes. And I love talking with people. So that kind of like drew me into account management, where I was like, this is kind of a good position where I'm not on the hook for doing all of the work, but I still get to work with all of those departments and I get to talk with customers and learn all about who they are. And so that's kind of like what drew me to account management. And that's really like what I've been doing, which is exciting. Not every day is exactly the same, where I don't, have the same meetings that I go to every day or necessarily talk to the same people every day. So, I get to work with all of the different teams and talk with clients, and there's always like new things that are popping up. So, our clients have really exciting things going on. So they'll have, new restaurants that are coming that we get to work on, or just new initiatives, that pop up that we get to focus on, and then new opportunities to work with other team members.
That's cool. Account management is, if you are into it, is I think a great seat because you get to meet a lot of different types of clients and businesses. You
Mm-hmm.
get to kind of see what their world is all about. At the same time, you get to work with almost every discipline within the agency. So the variety is incredible. It's
Mm-hmm.
if you're kind of a generalist by nature, I think it really suits that type of person. And even if account management isn't like the end goal, it's a
Mm-hmm.
great preview to all these different options that you could have. So I think it's a fantastic way for people to start their career.
Yeah, definitely. It's really exciting to kind of like get your feet wet in a bunch of different areas. Like my background, I definitely did not like know much about SEO. Like that was one area that I really never really got into. And so it's really exciting, just to see like the experts here work and like hear all about what they're doing and getting to help the client, but also like expand my knowledge.
Is there a part of your day that you really look forward to, whether it's working with a particular type of client or a particular discipline, or what's something that you look forward to?
I would say I really just look forward to like talking with the clients and like presenting. Like it's really exciting when we get to like work on something new, especially with like some of our like branding projects. Like it's really exciting to start the process and then kind of like bring it all together and present to them and hear them talk about how much they're really excited about the work that we presented. So we recently were doing a brand map for a client and they were just like talking about how much they loved it and they love the strategists that they were working with, and so that's always really exciting.
Yeah, our we've always gotten pretty positive reviews on the brand, and they not only do they see that it's quality work, but it's really important to them, and it
Mm-hmm.
feels like clarity after they've gone through like this very kind of confusing time, or they're not exactly sure which direction to go, and then it
Mm-hmm.
makes sense to them, and then they're like, so those are some of the best media. I agree. Those are some of the best ones to be a part of, and then they're usually pretty vocal about it. They'll tell us like,
Mm-hmm.
this is great. What are some of the comments that you hear for them, or what are some of the conversations? Are there certain aspects of it you think that they appreciate more than others?
I think they really just appreciate like the thought that's put into it, especially like the way that it's explained. Like it wasn't just, hey, we threw this together like last minute. Like there was a lot of like planning that went into this and thought that went into it. I think it really shows with like the level of effort and just the explanation that the strategists like go into. I think that that really just shows them that, hey, we care and we're very invested in your business. And that just shows them the work.
Yep. So when you were going through the interview process, you were meeting with different companies, you met us, and then you decided to choose native. Was there anything that you had imagined about working here that was different than when you showed up and actually started? Like, was the imagination and reality any different, or what was the same?
Um, I'm trying to think. It was hard because I had these expectations, but I didn't like know what they were. Everyone talked about how everyone was very collaborative and they loved working with the people. And I think that is something that I had very high expectations for. and definitely like met my expectations of everyone was always willing to, if you have a question, to answer your question. I'm a very inquisitive person, so I always have a lot of questions. And, especially working under Allie, like she is always willing to answer my questions, even though they keep coming. And so, that was something that you know, when people kept saying over and over again, like the people are great, I was like, okay, well, I have this really high expectation then. Like this should hopefully meet my expectations, and it did.
That's great. Yeah, it's hard. I've never heard a negative word about Allie, so you're in good hands there.
Yeah, no, definitely. Allie's great.
What so far, I mean, it's still early days, but what has been some of the more rewarding aspects of working at Native, whether it's the people or the work, or what are some of the first thoughts that come to mind?
I think just kind of going back again to the people of like working with such a big team, because I came from a small organization where it was a marketing department of one. And so really just having other people to like rely on and like bounce ideas off of, or even if it's just like, hey, I'm sending this email, like, what is your thoughts on this? Of like maybe a conversation that's like not necessarily difficult, but it's a little delicate and you just want an extra set of eyes to like look it over. Like everyone's always willing to like give insight and like, hey, that looks great, or like we should tweak this a little bit, or even like something comes up with a client and you're like, hey, like what is your thoughts on this? Like this is my initial reaction. Am I like completely off base here, or is that also what you're feeling?
Yeah.
So really just having people there to like gut check you and like know that you're on the right path is really great.
Have you worked with enough clients close enough to understand why they continue to work with us? Do you have any ideas on why they selected us and why they continue to work with us?
Yeah, I think so. I think that just a lot of it is kind of, going above and beyond of like not just doing the work, but also like finding things that we weren't asked to do, like something maybe changed and they didn't let us know, but we caught it anyways. And kind of just like those little things that, maybe if you look at one, like seems really insignificant, but when it happens again and again, it just shows that we're, on top of our game and like we're paying attention to what's happening. It's not we set some ads in place and then just forget about it until the next month, like we're, constantly doing the work and making changes.
I think that's every client's worst fear, is that they end up in a relationship where it's sort of a set it, forget it, and they're kind
Mm-hmm,
of downgraded and pushed to the side. And the more you can be proactive and just make sure that nothing gets by you, I think is really key. But it's not easy, right? It takes a lot of
mm-hmm,
intentional work, and the way you structure your teams and all of that. It takes a lot of work to be able to deliver that. But that is really what you have to do in this industry.
mm-hmm.
What is are there things that you're looking forward to that you're hoping to kind of experience or work on in the next, I don't know, 6 months or a year?
Yeah, I think just like furthering like the deliverables that I've worked on is really exciting, getting more into like seeing some more of like the brand strategy deliverables. I'm really excited about that. I really love, my hospitality clients. But I'm also excited about the possibility of maybe, taking on like a tech client in the future, because that's something that I haven't really done in the past. And so I think that possibility is really exciting of just moving into like a different area.
Yeah, and they're very different and in
Mm-hmm,
every way. But I feel like that variety just makes us sharper. And whenever we can take learnings from one and apply it to the other,
mm-hmm,
not only is it rewarding for us because we're sharper marketers, but I think our clients benefit from that because the our recommendations don't get stale or stagnant, which is so easy to do when you have a very tight
mm-hmm.
niche. It's just you're very sharp in their industry, but you're recycling a lot of ideas and you can get comfortable. And I feel like that's a real dangerous spot to be in.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about having that variety of like, I know you are used to doing things this way, but we actually have experience doing things a different way. And I think that some of those things can be pulled and applied to our different clients.